1964. A young man sold just $8,000 worth of shoes. His total profit? $240. Today, that same company earns over $30 billion every single year. But this story isn't just about numbers. It's about a dreamer, a man who didn't know where his life was going. It's about a coach obsessed with perfection. It's about a betrayal that nearly destroyed everything, a government battle that almost ended the company, and a rookie basketball player who turned sneakers into legend. This isn't just business, it's obsession, it's survival, it's destiny. This is the story of Nike. Phil Knight was a runner, but not a great one. At the University of Oregon, under the legendary coach Bill Bowerman, he ran track. But while others broke records, Phil stayed in the middle of the pack. He wasn't going to the Olympics. He wasn't destined to be a sports star. After college, he drifted, joined the Army Reserves, tried selling encyclopedias door to door, failed, took a job at a small firm, hated it. At 24 years old, he felt completely lost. His friends were moving forward. Careers, marriages, families. Phil? He was stuck in neutral, haunted by one question. What now? Then came a spark. In a Stanford business class, Phil wrote a paper. His idea? Japan, already famous for cameras, could break into shoes. And not just break in, but crush the German giants, Adidas and Puma. Cheaper, lighter, faster. For most students, it was just homework. For Phil, it was a map, a purpose. Armed with just $1,000 borrowed from his father, he flew to Japan. Walked straight into the headquarters of Onitsuka, makers of Tiger running shoes, and he bluffed. He introduced himself as the head of an American shoe company. That company didn't exist, but Onitsuka believed him. They agreed to ship him shoes. Phil had no warehouse, no employees, no office, just a lie and a chance. He called his fake company Blue Ribbon Sports, and from that lie, Nike's truth was born. Phil needed help, and he knew exactly who to call. Bill Bowerman, his old coach. Bowerman wasn't just a trainer, he was an inventor, a tinkerer, a mad scientist of running. He believed the right shoe could change everything. He ripped sneakers apart, shaved off ounces, stitched together strange new versions, and forced his athletes to test them, even if it left their feet blistered and bleeding. When Phil showed him the Japanese Tigers, Bowerman's eyes lit up. He saw possibilities. He saw speed. He saw the future. Bowerman invested. He became Phil's partner. Together they started small. Phil sold shoes out of the trunk of his car, driving up and down the West Coast, high schools, track meets, running clubs. Boxes piled up in his parents' basement. Every sale felt like survival. The first year, $8,000 in sales, $240 in profit. It wasn't much, but whispers began to spread. Athletes asked, "Have you tried those new shoes?" Blue Ribbon was gaining traction, slowly, step by step. Something was happening, but success always casts shadows, and soon, betrayal was waiting. By the late 1960s, Blue Ribbon Sports was rising, sales climbing, athletes trusting the shoes. Phil felt unstoppable. Then came the knife in the back. Onitsuka, the Japanese company behind the Tigers, betrayed him. Behind his back, they searched for a new U.S. distributor. They planned to cut Phil out, steal his customers, and leave Blue Ribbon to die. Phil was devastated, but he wasn't giving up. He fought back. He sued Onitsuka. They countersued. Years of partnership turned into a bitter courtroom war. The dream teetered on the edge of collapse. But instead of folding, Phil and Bowerman took the biggest risk of their lives. If Japan wouldn't supply them, they'd build their own shoes. Bowerman went back to his kitchen. One morning he poured rubber into his wife's waffle iron. The result? A sole that was light, flexible, and gripped the track like nothing before. The waffle sole was born. Phil hired a young design student for a logo. She drew a swoosh, fluid, simple, powerful. She charged $35. The company needed a name. An employee suggested Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. It was perfect. From betrayal came reinvention. From the ashes of Blue Ribbon rose Nike. The 1970s should have been Nike's victory lap, but instead, it nearly killed them. The company grew too fast, too soon. The U.S. government accused Nike of dodging taxes by manufacturing overseas. Lawsuits piled up. Headlines branded them cheaters. Debt crushed the company. Phil called it the darkest time of his life. Everything he had built was one step from collapse. But in the shadows of crisis, Nike made its boldest moves. Nike unveiled the Air Sole, a pocket of cushioning that let athletes walk on air. Critics laughed, but when runners tried them, they didn't laugh, they bought. Nike Air wasn't just a shoe, it was technology, it was performance, it was the future. And then came the moment that changed everything. A rookie stepped into the NBA. His name? Michael Jordan. Adidas didn't want him. Converse turned him away. Nike was his last option. But Nike saw something others didn't. They didn't just offer him a deal. They offered him his own shoe line. The Air Jordan. The NBA banned them. Too bold, too loud, too different. But Nike flipped the script. Their ad declared, the NBA threw them out of the game. Luckily, you can still wear them. The result? Pandemonium. Stores sold out. Kids skipped school to buy them. Jordan soared, and so did Nike. Nike wasn't just selling shoes anymore. They were selling rebellion. They were selling culture. They were selling identity. And with Jordan, Nike conquered the world. By the late 1980s, Nike had transformed from a company into a movement. They launched a slogan that became immortal. Just do it. It wasn't about sports anymore. It was about life, about facing fear, silencing excuses, pushing through limits. Their ads didn't show shoes. They showed people, struggling, failing, trying again, winning. It didn't matter if you were an Olympian, a weekend jogger, or someone trying their very first push-up. Nike whispered the same message. Don't wait. Don't think. Just do it. And the world listened. They signed legends. Woods. Cristiano Ronaldo. LeBron James. Every swoosh became a stamp of victory. Nike wasn't just selling products anymore. They were selling belief. But as their empire grew, so did the shadows. The 1990s brought Nike's darkest scandal. Investigations exposed the truth. Overseas factories, sweatshops, where workers were underpaid, overworked, mistreated. The backlash was fierce. Students protested, activists boycotted, and suddenly, the swoosh, once a symbol of victory, became a symbol of exploitation. Phil Knight admitted it. He stood before the world and said, "The Nike product has become synonymous with slave wages." That's wrong. We must change. So Nike changed. They raised wages. They enforced standards. They pushed for transparency. It didn't erase the scars, but it saved the brand. And so, Nike endured. Today, Nike is more than a company. It's a cultural giant. From a $240 profit in 1964 to more than $30 billion a year. From a lost runner with no direction to the most powerful brand in sports and culture. Nike's story isn't just about shoes. It's about risk, betrayal, innovation, rebellion, and resilience. Because in the end, Nike proved one thing. A shoe is never just a shoe. It's a dream you can wear. Remember, every great story starts with just one step. So, keep pushing forward and never stop learning. Hit that subscribe button and join me on this incredible journey to greatness.